Hi, everybody. Thank you if you are tuning in. Thank you for joining us for Michael Maguire's book launch of his debut novel, Identical Strangers, which is book 1 in the Chronicles of Armathazia. This is what it looks like. Well, this is the hardcover. Do you have a softcover, Allison? Paperback? And there's paperback. It is also available now on ebook as well through Amazon, through all major book retailers, and through our website. So if you like what you hear today, please check out his book. It's really phenomenal. So if you've tuned into our launches before, we're going to start by introducing everyone, and then we'll move into the reading and then Q&A. So if you have questions, feel free to type them in the box, the comment box, and we will keep track of those so we can ask as we go. But I want to start with introductions, and we'll start with Alex.
Hi, everybody. I'm Alex. I was the main editor for Identical Strangers.
Awesome. Thank you, Alex. I am Emily. I am the editor-in-chief of Fractured Mirror. I got a chance to work on Mick's book as well, and it was fun. And then Allison.
And my name is Allison. I'm the art director for Fractured Mirror, and I was the one responsible for putting together the cover and the book layout.
Awesome.
And you did a great job.
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah. This one has really cool little at the tops of chapters swords, which is a lot of fun. Yeah, I feel like epics. The layout definitely, and the cover definitely give you that vibe. So and now Mick, do you want to introduce yourself to us?
Yeah, I'm Mick. I wrote Identical Strangers. So yeah, that's it. That's all I did.
That's all you did.
That's it.
That's a big thing though. So so Mick is going to read a selection. If you've had a chance to see the video that's out, you would have heard the first chapter. Or if you have gone to his website, which is linked to the social media on Instagram, I believe, and Mick's Instagram page, you can get a free first chapter of the book. But Mick is going to read from us from a different chapter. So whenever you're ready, Mick.
Yes, no worries. All right, ready to rock? All right, this is an excerpt from chapter 4. So bear with me. The old man outside the football stadium grinned at the thought that his mission was almost complete. The first boy was almost in his grasp. For 16 years, he'd scoured the world, day after day, night after night, year after year, never sleeping, never eating, always hunting, recruiting his army of human searchers as he went. The disciples who followed him did so freely, their correct answers to an evil riddle posted on the darkest corner of the internet, garnering a knock on the door from the Varzal himself. The ones he trusted became part of his army. The ones he didn't were never heard from again. Now it was finally time. Tall and emaciated, he wore a black suit with a white shirt and matching black tie. The mini top hat that sat crooked on his crown cast a dispersion of a distinguished old gentleman. Only upon closer inspection could one tell that the Varzal wasn't from this world. His gaunt, deathly look and his chalk white face were the result of 16 years on Earth. Yet tonight he never felt more alive. Tonight he would begin his journey home. Stepping into the rain, he raised his hands out to his sides, his chin skywards as his eyeballs rolled back into his head. He still had power here. Now his gaze was inside the football ground, zooming through the crowd at breakneck speed as he scanned the faces of the cheering masses. Backward and forward, up and down, he stopped and started at every face, his impatience growing with each fresh new canvas until boom, his stare stood still. I see you, he whispered as his mouth opened wide to expose his ghastly yellow teeth. I see you. It was Roper Robbins, the boy he'd been tasked with finding, the child that the Gorgon required. At that very same moment, in 20 or more pockets throughout the stadium, mobile phones buzzed into life. A simple text message for the demon's minions. Look to the screen, seize the boy. John had almost made it back to his seat when the horror began to unfold. Before him stood his son, no more than 10 feet away. His finger pointed to the sky with a huge grin on his face. Smile, Dad, we're on TV. John looked up in panic to see himself and his son looking straight back, their faces plastered across the stadium's huge screens for all to see. "Put your hand down," ordered John as he dropped the drinks and pulled Roper tight to his chest, scanning the crowd to see if anyone had noticed them. "Listen to me, son. There are some bad people in here looking for us. I will explain everything later, but for now, just trust me and do what I say. Don't make any sudden movements." Just a few rows behind, the crowd marshal drew the knife from his pocket and covered it with a scarf in his hand. His mission was simple: secure the boy by any means necessary. The second half of the game had just begun and the crowd had already fallen silent as the referee awarded the penalty to United. The fans trembled in anticipation as their player stepped up to take the spot kick. The marshal was behind them now, his timing coincidentally perfect as he readied to plunge the blade into John's side. He would then remove Roper from the stadium under the guise that he was a hooligan. It was almost too easy. What the marshal hadn't accounted for was the sheer passion of the fans as the player scored and sent the whole stadium into a frenzy. Bodies littered the air as the fans jumped for joy, the shift in the crowd so forceful it sent the marshal spiraling away from his target. Only when the crowd settled could he resume his mission, but as he paused through the crowd and reached his destination, he found the boy's seat empty. Rain hammered down on the park cars as John and Roper emerged from the stadium with Julius in tow. They had made it out unscathed, the single searcher that gave chase valiantly disposed of behind a concession stand by one of the order's soldiers. Julius had parked their van in the loneliest corner of the lot in the hope of drawing minimal attention, an act he now regretted as he scanned the no man's land and wide open space that lay before them. "Keep your head down and your eyes peeled," he ordered as they broke into a jog across the car park, a dozen soldiers of the order falling in behind him in perfect formation. They had barely reached the halfway point when Julius outstretched his arms and slowed the group to a stop. "Armor up, he's here." Roper gasped in amazement as the men behind tore off their clothes and blew past them, their body armor and weaponry now on display as they drew axes and swords and formed a battle line up ahead. "Who is that?" asked Roper as he peeked out from behind the barricade. In the distance, a figure stood tall, his knee raised just enough to plant the sole of his foot on the lifeless body sprawled under him on the asphalt. The harsh rain and darkened night had made it hard to see that far ahead, but John knew who it was. It was the Varzal, and he had something in his hand. "Hold the line," ordered Julius as his soldiers locked eyes with the demon in the distance, hoping the object the demon swung in his hand wasn't what they thought it was. For a second, the Varzal was silent before he let out a spine-tingling cackle and launched the article in his grasp towards the men. It went high, almost out of sight, before it crashed back to earth and rolled to a stop at their feet. "No," roared Julius as the severed head of Dominic, the newest recruit of the order, stared up at him, his face frozen in horror in the very last moment of life. Julius had left him to guard the van in the veiled attempt to protect him. Now he was dead. In his rage, Julius pulled the sword from his back and attempted to rush forward, but his soldiers immediately pulled him back. "Julius, you must flee. Take the boy and go. Do it now, or this will all have been for nothing. You're the only one who can get them to safety. We'll hold them off as long as we can." "No," replied Julius. "I will not leave you to fight this bastard alone. I am your leader." "Then lead," replied the soldier. "Lead that boy home." Julius knew he was right. If he died today, their mission was already doomed. He had to protect the boy at all costs. A simple nod to his soldiers meant more than words ever could. He knew he would never see these men and women alive again, not in this lifetime anyway. "Hold or fold," he roared as he grabbed Roper and John and turned away from the demon towards the subway. "Hold or fold," came the reply as his soldiers charged forward into battle for one last time. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we met Roper. So those of you who have heard the beginning of the book, we've gotten a chance now to meet the other boy. So that was, thank you for reading that selection. Really appreciate it. Well, are you ready for questions?
Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, fire away.
You're ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's start off with, what was your inspiration for this book? It's a fantasy. It's an epic fantasy. It's the first in a series. So what got you going on it?
I don't know. I always wanted to write an epic fantasy since I was young. So yeah, I don't know what the inspiration was for it. I remember waking up years and years ago and I had this idea for twins in a fantasy land. And I think I was just born from that. And then, I just started writing it, stopped writing it, started writing it. And it's been a long journey. But yeah, I think that was it. I just woke up one day, I thought, let's give that a go.
It's a good way to do it. A dream, a waking up, or whatever. Like, oh wow, it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you mentioned you wrote it on and off over an amount of time. So how long would you say it actually took you to write it, from the beginning, or maybe when you finally sat down and decided I want to get this completed? How long?
17 years. So it didn't take 17 years to write the book, but I had the idea in 2004, start of 2004, just before I moved to Australia. And I just had the idea, I started putting it together, and then over the next 10 years, I would write pieces and put it away, but I never really had a proper go at it. And then in 2014, my dad got sick, and I had to go home to Ireland. And I was home for like 3 or 4 months before he passed away. But when I was home, everybody was working. I wasn't doing anything. So I was like, I'll have a crack at it now. So I probably wrote a good bit of it at home in those 2 or 3 months. And then when I came back to Australia, I'd obviously lost my job because I'd been away for so long. So I'd saved a bit of money. So I just sat on the balcony in Sydney for like 3 months and I wrote the rest of it. And then I put it away again. In 2014, I got offered a publishing. I think I told you this before. I got offered a publishing deal for it originally, but I had an agent friend that was in Sydney, and they were like, "Do not sign that deal. It was awful." So I got a bit disheartened, and then I put it away for another 4 or 5 years, and then I pulled it back out last year, and the first people I sent it to was you guys. And here we are.
We are happy you sent it to us. we are very happy about that.
No, I'm happy as took it on. So thank you.
Well, thank you for writing such a good book. Let's see. So you work on a book as a writer, but sometimes as a reader, we like different things. So I'm really curious, did you have a favorite part to read versus to write, or were they the same part? Does that make?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. Yeah, I like to write when the brothers reunite. So like, I don't want to curse on here, but as you know, one of the brothers, he's a bit of a dick, and the other ones a lot more fun and laid back, and like I like when they mesh together because they've so different personalities, but at the crux of themselves, they're the same. They've got the same values and stuff, but they've just grown up totally different. One's disheartened, the other one's happy. So I like writing their journey. I like writing their parents' journey when they reunited after 18 years, 16 years apart. And my favorite character to write was probably Percival, because he's such a fractured character. He's like you love him and you hate him. He's evil, but he's good. You're rooting for him, even though he's been through the tortures, you know. So yeah, so they're the ones I like. They're the ones I like writing the best. I think reading, I don't know. I like it all, I suppose. Or I wouldn't put it out, you know. So yeah. So some parts are more. I wouldn't say boring, but some parts a lot slow burner compared to fast. But I like both of that. So yeah, that's about it on that.
Awesome. Let's see. So to go back to, we asked you before about how long it took to write the novel, but you said it took a really long time. So with such a long time between starting and finishing the manuscript, did your style of writing change, or did you keep it, or did it stay the same?
No, it changed. I remember reading when I had written it over the first 10 years. It was like reading Usain Bolt wrote it. It was 100 miles an hour. You couldn't make no head nor tails. It was too fast. So I had to go back in. I think the original script was 80,000 words. I think this is 120,000. But it's not really any more story. It's just slowed down so you can actually take it in. It's too fast, too many characters. I had to take some of that out. But yeah, it's definitely different style. Like sometimes I'll write a full chapter and put it in the drawer and take it out after 3 months and throw it in the bin. I'm like, Dad, what were you thinking? Do you know what I mean? It's nonsense. So that happens a lot as well. So yeah, but yeah, it definitely changed since I started to now. Like when I read now, I'm like, okay, now it's slowed down. I like it now. I never liked it before, so I like it now. So
I
yeah,
like it now.
yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, the slowing down is probably a good thing because there's so much going on. I mean, it's the beginning of a Chronicles, right? It's the beginning of
Yeah,
an epic. So yeah, there's a lot going on. The slow
yeah, there's a
down
lot going on.
helps a lot. So again, with the story, you've traveled a lot. You're from Ireland, you're living in Australia. I believe you lived in the United States for a short amount of time. Have any of your travels influenced the settings for the book? Like, obviously it's a fantastical setting, but what you've seen in different places, have they affected or influenced any of the settings?
Yeah, I think more for me, it's more the people and the places, because the places are obviously made up because it's a fantasy land. So like that, if I seen one of them places live, I would be very worried. You know what I mean? but the people, like I'll see stuff. I think I said one of you before. If you looked at the notes in my phone, it looks like the ramblings of a madman, because like the stuff that happens to me every day. If somebody will say something, or I'll see something or a movement or something, I'll be like, oh, that could, and it'll just something to build in your head. Or somebody will say something and I'll be like, yeah, that's an idea that I could explore, and I'll write something completely different, but it just links up for me. So I think influence for me is more people than places.
People. Do you have any characters that's based off you? Or any character that has the essence of who you are in it? Or do you kind of keep yourself away from your characters?
No, not really. I'll try to keep myself away. I like to think I would be like Hector.
Okay.
So, plus he's got ginger hair and a big ginger beard. And he's got a big ginger beard, so yeah. But and he likes to protect the boys. So I would like to think I was like him. Whether I would be or not in a situation that he gets put in, probably not. But yeah. So, but yeah, if it was one, but no, not really. I don't base any characters on people. Nah.
Okay, sounds good. So we've got some questions from some of the people viewing. So let's see, from Carol. How do you keep track of such an epic storyline when it continues over such a long time and distance?
So for the original book, or going for the whole Chronicles? For the original book, I just write and just see where it goes, and try not to. If I get too far ahead on one character, I'll try to go back and write the other ones that are coming up to meet it, sort of thing. Because but at the end of the day, if I'm writing one character and it's going well, I'll just keep writing it until it's not, and then go back and try and trace it. As opposed to the Chronicles, I've got ideas for the second, third, fourth books, but they're just ideas, and 9 times out of 10, them ideas will change completely. The time I don't plan it, I'll start writing. I'll have points, but there's no dead end. It doesn't have to be like I had 3 different endings for this book. And then when I went back to edit it, the way I started writing it again, it changed completely. Everybody changed. So, yeah, I don't keep. Short answer, probably I don't keep track really. I don't, because then you limit yourself to having an ending that might not work. Do you know what I mean?
That makes sense. You back yourself into a corner that way.
Yeah.
From Adam. So Adam says, I've heard and read many times that the villain is the most interesting character, often from various sources, generally speaking. Do you consider the antagonist to be the most interesting character in Identical Strangers?
Oh, I'm not sure. There's multiple villains. So, yeah, the villain's always the easiest to write, because they're always you can do what you want with them. Whereas sort of with the heroes, you gotta sort of protect them, and you gotta make sure the heroes stick to like a law, a line that everybody knows is right. Whereas the villain doesn't have those rules. So I'd say, yeah, the villain's probably is the easiest to write. It's not always the most exciting. Probably it is the most exciting. Yeah, he's right. So yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, I would agree. At least from a reader's perspective, I think the villain, or you have, like you said, you have a lot of antagonists. I would say they are awfully interesting and fun to read.
Well, the thing is, if you've got the reader say, or even me as a writer, you got to keep the twins, especially in this one, you got to keep them the heroes more or less, or sort of at least on that line. Whereas with a villain, people care. The worse you can make him, the more the people are interested in him. So he's got no rules, which is great, especially in this. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's definitely a fair point. So this is kind of a piggyback off of Carol's question, but what was your creative process like for creating the world of Armathazia? So what was your process like for creating it?
Oh, I don't really have a process for it's just thoughts and ideas, and
Random.
you put a character. Like I remember reading something before as I don't really like using the word magic, even though I do use it a few times in the book. I don't like wizard. I'd rather say sorcerer, sort of like little things like that. But like just that it's finite. You can't just have somebody who can just use the powers, blah blah blah. So I sort of try and build it without having rules that people read. In my head, I've got rules where, like, you know what I mean, you can't use your energy and just be unlimited. You know what I mean? So like, and just build a world around, and not everybody in the world has powers or has skills, and it's like a normal world, but the rules don't always apply. So, and I just try to build it out like that, and just see where it goes. But I don't have a set. Yeah, I don't have a set. The world. This is the way I'm going to build it. It's just whatever takes flight when I'm writing it, I suppose. Yeah.
For anyone who does National Novel Writing Month here, you're definitely a pantser, Nick. You just start with an idea and you're like, I'm gonna go and see what happens.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Because unless you've got unless you've like really have an ending and a middle, and it's like unless you're really stuck to that point. For me, it's just like I'll wake up today and I can't write. I'll wake up tomorrow and have this idea that I didn't have yesterday. So if I'm restricted to what I said yesterday, then it's no good for me. I understand the way people do it differently, but for me, definitely. What's a pantser? Flying by the seat of your pants? Is that what that is?
Yeah, that's the terminology.
100% me. 100%. Yeah.
Nice. It's a fun way to write.
Yeah.
Let's see, from another one of our viewers, August. August asks, so you said you woke up one day and just decided to begin writing this book. Was the concept inspired more by a dream or by real people or events?
I haven't got a memory on this. I was actually talking to my wife about this last night. I was like, I think it was a dream, but I don't want to be, I dreamt the book. I didn't dream the book, but I can remember, I have a memory that I woke up one morning. I knew I always wanted to write an epic fantasy, but it was the twin thing and the separation. I had that memory. Whether I dreamt it or not, I don't know. But I remember, I think it was a dream that part came. Or I was thinking about it lying in bed. I wrote down the twins, and then I had their names almost immediately. And I didn't have anything else. I just knew that they were from the whole crux of the story would be they were from a different world. They caused a danger. They were imminent danger to that world, so they had to get separated and hidden on Earth, multiple opposite ends, and they didn't know each other existed. And that's all I had, but that was enough to build that. Though. So yeah, it's not bad. Yeah.
Let's see. Is the name Armathazia inspired by anything in particular? How'd you come up with the name for your world? No,
I didn't. Just it sounded good in my head. It wasn't a word, so I was like, "What's not a word?" And then there you go. Now it's a word. Yeah.
It has a fun sound. It fits in with all those other fantastical location names you hear, over the years.
Yeah. It's good.
What are your future plans for Armathazia? What are your plans for that?
I can't really say too much. Just all I could say probably was the Demon Lord has 3 sons, and we've only met one of them. So there's a lot to come, and then there's a lot of characters that aren't gonna go. A lot of characters that aren't gonna go the way you think they're gonna go. But and one of the books, I'm not sure. Like I've got a thought. I don't know yet. So maybe I might bring a whole book, and it might happen on Earth instead of leaving Earth. Come back and then bring it into a whole different realm. But that's a long way away now,
That sounds terrifying if you bring it back to Earth. That's bad for us.
Yeah, that's bad for us.
What advice do you have for people hoping to get published? You've had an interesting path. I know you have published short stories in anthologies, and you said you had a contract or almost had a contract on this book once. So you've kind of gone through this process really more than once. So what advice do you have for people hoping to get published one day?
I don't know. I would just write. Just write when you can what you want to write, and maybe I think just like make it the best you can make it, before you send it out. And like all these people, like everybody has an opinion. Everybody has an opinion. So don't ask Joe down the street or your friend who has no interest in the genre you're writing. Don't ask him what he thinks of it. Like you can give it to your friends and say to them, look, do you like it? Maybe you like it, you don't, but like don't listen to the opinions. If it's not constructive criticism, don't listen to it at all. And I love criticism, but if you're gonna just criticize it and not help, you know what I mean, and tell you what you can do to better, get rid of them people. But the same thing is like find like-minded people who are writing the same stuff, same genre, and that's the criticism I want from people to say, look, that doesn't work, this works. Not Jim over the street here that says, oh, that's crap. I'm like, oh, thanks, Jim, go away. You know, you don't need, you know, so I mean, because people get disheartened from opinions from people who have no idea what they're talking about. So, and then, but you have to recognize that the people who do know what they're talking about take that criticism on board and try and learn from that. You know, constructive is the best. But that's my advice. I think my brother said to me one time, he's like, time is undefeated. I love that saying, time is undefeated, because like every day you don't write is a day less that you have to write. So I love just do it. Just what's the worst can happen? You know what I mean? Somebody says, oh, it's crap, so what? You know what I mean? Move on, next one. So yeah, that's my advice.
That's pretty good advice. Yeah, I like that. You said your brother said that quote? Your brother told you?
I think he said that. I think it was my brother said that to me years ago. Yeah, he's like, time is undefeated. I remember, like I've heard, I know other people have said it, but I remember he said it, and it's like, it is, and it is, you know, like look at me. I put this book away for more than I could have, if you broke it down to when I wrote this book, and then except for taking out what we did with all the editing and stuff, I could have probably written this book in 6 months. But it's been from the idea to the actual implement 17 years. You know what I mean? So I don't regret it, but I'm thinking now the next one's gonna be ready next year. It's not gonna be 10 years. So like hopefully I could have had 10 books out by now. Maybe one of them would have been. You know what I mean? But yeah, I would just get it done, man. Don't worry. Don't worry about the opinions of strangers.
So you mentioned the second book, and we just got a question from one of the viewers, Carol. Is the second book written yet? Have you started writing it?
Started,
or are you just
but not
setting a deadline? I'm gonna have it done.
Yeah, like that. But that's one thing. I don't like to have the end of the book set, but the date I'll have set. This needs to get done. So I've got an arc of where the second one's going to go. I've written lots of pieces. I've written lots of pieces of it, but not even lots. Just a lot of points, and then I'll just start. Once I get flowing, I'll go. You know what I mean? So, but no, it's not written, but it will be. But I know where it's going to go, and like as I said before, if you look at my notes, you'll see pages and pages and pages and pages. So I'll just put them all together, and I'll take an idea, write a chapter, and then what did you call it? A pantser?
Pantser, yeah.
Yeah. It'll be full pantser mode very soon. So we'll see how we go. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you. It seems to be the end of our questions. If anyone has any last minute questions they want to ask, we covered a lot of ground there. If not, so you can get Identical Strangers, the first book in the Chronicles of Armathazia, at major book retailers on our website. It's definitely worth reading, paperback, ebook, or hardcover. We are also in the process of doing a giveaway for this book. If you look on our social media, and we'll repost it, but it's been posted already, especially if you found this through various social media. The instructions are there, and it's lasting for about a week. So definitely apply, or what's the word? Definitely enter the giveaway. You won't be disappointed. And again, also go to his website. You can get a free chapter of the book if you subscribe. So check that out. Also for more news of his books and second book and future books. So definitely check that out. And Yeah. We want to thank you so much for joining us today. I know it's 7 o'clock and Eastern time. It's early by you, Nick, right? It's like 9 in the morning by you.
No, it's 9:30, yeah.
9:30, yeah. But thank you for everyone who joined and from wherever you joined. Thank you so much for joining us today to hear Michael Maguire read part of his book and to hear his thoughts on writing and how he wrote this book. Anything you want to say, Nick, before we?
No, just thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you, all you guys, for helping me get this book over the line. I know it's a hard work, a lot of back and forth, especially in a different country, different time frame. I might have emailed Alex 7,000 times. No, thanks for all your help. It's been an experience, it's been brilliant, and yeah, I'm looking forward to getting the second one out and torturing you all again.
Thank you so much. We look forward to that.
No worries.
Everyone have a great night, and we will see you next time. Stay tuned to our social media for more updates. We've got some updates coming up in the next couple of days that are kind of big. We wanted to give Nick his spotlight, though, which he more than deserves for this book. It was a joy to work with. So everyone have a great night, morning, afternoon.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.